as the autumn winds blow and the leaves travel over the frozen tundra.
There's no frozen tundra. It's like 80 damn degrees.
Global warming, I love it! I love you! Fuck Al Gore! Yes, it is time for your favorite politically incorrect sports commentary show. It is time for Sports Frenzy 2.0.
That is the benevolent maestro Kevin Crane.
And that is the all-seeing, all-knowing, sometimes all-loving, conquistador Dave Height. It is October the 30th, 2024, the night before Halloween.
Yep, happy Halloween to all you ghouls out there.
Yep, hope you have a great, responsible time tomorrow night.
Watch out for the kids.
As I think back to The League, one of our favorite shows of all time, taking the wagon out with the adult beverages.
Yes.
That's the way to celebrate. Why can't the parents have fun too?
We had the traveling tiki bar in my old neighborhood, and we did give some parents an adult beverage as they were taking the kids around.
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. Let the parents enjoy Halloween as well. Especially those troubled mothers who want to dress a little slutty. We're all for that. We're all for that. Let me give you my address. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
But not really.
Yeah. I have got a...
DM him through the Facebook post,
yeah,
kids.
I have got a butterfinger for you, let me tell you. It is king size. No, really, it's kind of a mini. But all right. The reason why we're delaying the inevitable as much as we are, as we are heading into, as we do every week, the NFL and our recap of last week's games, is because our team embarrassed us nationally.
Yep.
And we're trying to avoid talking about it.
Eberflus floosed himself all over the place. That whole game was an embarrassment. Especially, most egregiously, because they were coming off a damn bye.
And they looked unprepared.
2 weeks to prepare for this game, and nobody had a fucking clue what they were doing. From the coaches all the way to the players.
Yep. And this was not, yes, you've got a phenomenal young quarterback over on the other side, but he didn't do all that much up until the very last play. Padded his stats on that. I find it amazing. They're saying he's the number one quarterback this week in terms of fantasy. Like, what did you see last week to make you think that?
There. And why, in God's name, oh brilliant defensive coordinator that you are, Eberflus, why the hell were you not pressuring him the entire damn game?
There's so much to break down from this travesty the Bears lose on the last second.
He was hurt. You had a chance. Your players did not hit him often enough. When they had him dead to rights, they pulled up short and allowed him to escape instead of hitting him.
You knew he had tender ribs.
Inexcusable.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. Again, so much in this 18-15 debacle, this loss, to break down. The fact that the offense couldn't do pretty much anything against a defense, even though Dan Quinn is a defensive head coach, he doesn't have the personnel right now. The previous regime traded away. We've got Montez Sweat.
Right.
From the Commanders.
So
Chase Young is gone.
Yeah, and everything we thought we saw improvement on that offensive line, gone. They were a fucking sieve. And then injuries hit. It was just bad. They looked like they had no idea what plays were going to be called or what to do with them in any way, shape, or form.
So you had the Hail Mary that everybody has seen by now.
That never should have been thrown, because why on the previous damn play did you allow them the chunk yardage of 13 yards and letting them get out of bounds? That's on Eberflus.
That's a great call, Dave. That is an absolutely
They never should have been
call.
in a position for him to have been able to attempt that throw.
And Eberflus ducking the questions about that play after the game, whereas Dan Quinn basically came out and said, we wouldn't have been in position to throw the Hail Mary if we hadn't been able to get the play before down the field for the 15 yards and out of bounds.
Yeah, he pretty much laughed that they gave us that one. Ugh. And then, why is it, Eberflus, you're not paying attention to what your players are doing as they're setting up? You've got Tariq Stevenson, who had a shit game all damn day, torched multiple times, hit with the personal foul for being a jackass, taunting the fans with his back to the play.
When the ball is snapped.
Why are you not watching where your players are? Why did Caleb Williams have to point it out to you, and it was too late for you to call a timeout? You should have had the timeout called anyway to make sure everybody knew what was going on for that Hail Mary attempt. You knew it was coming.
And then a big word that a lot of people are using, outside of us, outside of the Chicago media, anybody in the national media who saw that, accountability.
That's been the word of everybody in Chicago. Will Flus accept it? Will he hold him accountable? His press conference all week doesn't dismissed everything. Oh, well, we're going to have to look and take care of that in-house. Oh, everything's being addressed in-house. You don't
He's not a leader. He's not a leader.
Not when you had DJ Moore, Jalen Johnson, Cole Kmet, as three of the guys who appear on the score 670. They come on the air to talk with the personalities. They all questioned the leadership. They all said, we were not prepared. Kmet, all through practices, not everybody was always full in participating. That goes to the coaching. That goes to Matt Eberflus.
I think, and
he still dodged all the fucking questions.
And this is counterintuitive, but I think he would have gained a lot more respect from the media, from the fans, from the players, if he had come right after the game and said, one of the worst 10 minutes of my life. I take full responsibility. I screwed up. I should have called timeout. I will be better. And if I'm not, then maybe the Bears need to move on.
Yeah.
But in this day and age where it's all vague double talk, we can't answer a question directly or honestly.
Yeah.
He lost respect for his reactions after the game as much as he did for what he did or didn't do as a coach in the game.
Yeah. No, today's press conference, multiple times he goes, I appreciate the question, but I'm not answering it. Basically blowing everybody off. Absolutely pathetic.
And Ryan Poles has to take accountability here too.
Yep.
He cannot live off of the Panthers trade forever, acting like he's a genius because he fleeced Carolina.
Yeah.
He hasn't done much beyond that.
No, where's the offensive line upgrades that you knew we've needed for years?
You figure, oh, we'll just stack the offense, except for the line.
Where everything hinges upon that line being able to hold and block, and they can't.
They're pathetic. And again, I told you as we were prepping for the podcast, this was my worst nightmare.
Yeah, this
was the nightmare game. The first couple games, I was willing to give him a pass for not looking good, not looking sharp. You've got a young quarterback. His first couple games as a starting quarterback in the pros.
Yep, he's got to get used to the speed of the game.
Then it looked like they figured it out.
And then you take the bye week.
And you just fall all the way back to week 1. You fall all the way back progress-wise to week fucking 1.
And that falls to the head coach.
And we're going to see the same goddamn thing we saw with Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields, where next year it's going to be a new head coach. And they won't spend the money. They won't spend the money on a top-level coach. They'll bring another coordinator.
A second or third tier coordinator, not a top tier.
Yeah, I heard somebody saying that, I think it was Danny Parkins, formerly of The Score, now on FS1, saying they need to go out and get Ben Johnson, steal him away from the Lions. It's like, bullshit. That's never going to happen.
He's not leaving there.
No. Number one, they're not going to pay him what he can command. And number two, I guarantee you, he's not going to the Bears to fuck over Dan Campbell and the Lions organization.
Right.
That has given him all these opportunities over the past few years. They're going to end up with the Tennessee Titans special teams coach.
Oh,
something like that. Because that's the way this clown show organization is run. And I told Dave, again, as we were prepping, you got 2 weeks left. Yep. You got the Cardinals this week, you got the Patriots next week, and then
the shit hits the fan when you are playing division opponents.
And good teams. You're going to be lucky to finish 8-9. Lucky now. After stumbling here in a game you should have won.
All the losses this year, you should have won. It falls to the coaching.
And we haven't even mentioned the idiotic Shane Waldron play on the goal line, handing the ball off to an offensive lineman who's geared up with gloves and tape and pads on his arms and his hands.
There's no way he would have been able to get the ball. It was dumb.
How much of an insult is that to Roshan Johnson, who is normally our goal line guy?
That's a gimmick play you use when you're up by 30 points.
I cannot express
the disappointment and disgust.
And the worst thing is, it carried across all of our teams. Although not to this level, not to this extent.
God, no.
But the Dolphins, Tua comes back. Hope springs eternal. Tua comes back, and they lose to the Cardinals.
Yep, by a point at home. Seriously.
28-27, the Dolphins fall to 2-5. Hey, go smoke a bowl.
Yep.
As your coach would want to do. That's the worst. That is the worst. Tua, I can tell the guys like him. They root for him. They will follow him. He's not the problem. Now, would I have given him the contract? No.
Oh, hell no. We talked about that.
But extending Cheech through 2028 is my problem.
Was a dumb move. Should not have been done. Again, panic move. Oh, we got a little success. We need to lock him up. Dirt, 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 dirt. No, you don't have any success yet.
And it's very interesting, the parallels you can draw between the Bears and the Dolphins.
Yeah, they're going to wind up switching coaches.
Stack the offense. Stack the offense.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't. Head coach, we've found the next genius. Yeah. I put Eberflus and McDaniel in a room together, I get half a brain. Combined.
Pretty much.
And one of them's because he's been smoking too much of the ganja.
The other just has no excuse.
No, he's a zombie. He's a walking idiot. He's a fucktard. And the thing, the Dolphins stack the offense just like the Bears and Ryan Poles have done. Okay, great. Devon A-Chain. We said last year Devon A-Chain was going to be a stud. Great pick. Great draft pick. And he's turned out to be one of the top 5 or 6 running backs in the league.
Yeah,
Mostert's a nice
they're not playing running back by committee. They can't right now because of injuries to the other backs. A-Chain should be the main back. End of discussion.
Mostert comes in.
Spells
he's the goal line
from time
guy.
to time.
He will knock in a couple touchdowns because he's a tougher, bigger runner, whereas A-Chain can do everything else.
Yep.
But the fact that you're seeing Tyreek Hill and Jaden Waddle wither on the vine.
It's pretty pathetic.
Now, is that play calling? Is it Tua just getting his feet back under him?
This week it's Tua getting his feet back under him. It should open up next week.
Yeah, given who they're playing this week, though, they're looking at 2-6.
Oh, easy.
And my Buccaneers, we knew this was coming because
they have no receivers.
Yeah, they lost Godwin for the year. They've lost Evans for at least another 2 or 3 weeks. Baker Mayfield, God bless him, is doing everything in his power. That man, I have gained so much respect for him.
He is balling out these last 2 years.
He has that will to win. He will not let this team lose, or at least go down without a fight.
He's shown leadership, and he's shown the ability he can play this game.
And he's better than most of these quarterbacks who are getting $55 million a year.
Yeah. Or $60 million.
Trevor Lawrence.
Or $60 million in Prescott.
So, yes, Kirk Cousins again shreds. He's just got the Buccaneers number.
Yeah, I know.
Shreds the Buccaneers for the second game this year. Falcons win 31-26. Kirk Cousins has 9 touchdown passes this year against the Buccaneers. If you take those away,
he's got nothing.
He is having an abysmal year.
Yeah, he's not doing well.
He is just destroying the Buccaneers. Thank God we're done with him.
Now you can move on.
Yeah, to the Chiefs.
Yay, team.
Yeah. Yeah, and who would have... Todd Bowles is actually doing a good job.
He's actually coaching well, surprisingly.
But then again, anybody who goes to the Jets, that's a deep, dark black hole.
Oh, my God. Hey, they've got a cure for that. Cayenne pepper and water. Oh, Rodgers is such a fucknut.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll end up covering all the teams between last week's games and our picks for this week's games. Couple little notes and tidbits to go over.
Can we call out the biggest snowflake quarterback that's been drafted in the last 2 years? In Mr. Richardson for the Colts.
Oh, because he had to take a play off because he was winded?
I'm gassed. I'm tired. I need a play off. Guess what?
Tapping his helmet.
Guess what? You're now benched.
For good. For this year. Shane Steichen knows his job is on the line.
Yep.
His ass is on the line.
Flacco is their best bet to win.
So Joe Flacco will now be the starting quarterback going forward, barring injury, for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
And I think Steichen, and I know we're not Irsay fans, but at least... drunken old idiot that he is, he's better than the other drunken old idiot down in Dallas. He will let his coach
make the decisions,
or at least discuss things with him in the front office to say what can we do to win. And they've lucked into a lot of these wins early on. The fact they're 4-4 is amazing to me.
Yeah, they've gotten very lucky.
And Anthony Richardson, this is an example of a kid who should have sat. And should have sat for at least a year.
I'm thinking 2.
And that's
because the elevator's not going all the way up with this guy.
And I'm telling you, this is why the Falcons are going to be good for a long, long time. Because once Kirk Cousins calls it quits,
Penix
is going to step in and he is going to be phenomenal. Because he's going to watch, he's going to learn from one of the better quarterbacks in the league, which is what most of these kids should do.
That's what they need.
So, Flacco now makes the Colts relevant again. Now they can actually move the ball. Now they can actually score points. So we'll see how they do going forward. That division is not that tough.
No, it's not. That's up for grabs.
Lions, arguably... Some will say yes, some will say no. The best team in football. Put a beat down on last weekend, scoring 52 points. 52 points. You know how many passing yards Jared Goff had, Dave?
Wasn't it under 200?
Under 100.
It was under 100.
85 passing yards. And the Lions posted 52 points. Never been done before in the history of the NFL.
That's all 3 phases of the game firing on all cylinders.
That's scary. That is scary, that the Lions can do that and still post 50-plus points.
Yeah.
But then you've got the biggest, best two-headed running back monster
With Gibbs and Montgomery.
Yep. Then on the flip side, Monday night, as the Steelers extend their home Monday Night Football winning streak, now over 30 years, I believe, since they have lost a home Monday Night Football game.
That's crazy.
Daniel Jones, forget Kirk Cousins. Remember how we used to pick on Kirk Cousins? He can't win on TV when he's in a featured game, prime time. Daniel Jones has taken over.
Yep. Oh, God. Historically bad when it comes to prime time.
In prime time games, now 1 in 15. 1 in 15. Then we've got the trade deadline coming up here next week, right around the time of the election. So thank God all this shit is going to get washed off the board all at the same time, and we can go back to living normal lives.
I will not be paying attention to the election results. I will be paying attention to what all the trade deadline deals were.
So the Ravens, to me, seems like it's just too much of a good thing. For a team that doesn't necessarily pass the ball a lot, they go out and get yet another wide receiver in Deontay Johnson from the Panthers.
Was this a move to bolster themselves or to keep another team from improving?
That is a very astute observation. I like that. Could be. They might have blocked. Maybe they blocked the Chiefs.
Yep, there were rumblings they might have been looking at him as well.
Because I didn't see DeAndre Hopkins necessarily have a massive effect on that offense. It was all Travis Kelce.
For the first time all year that Kelce was actually relevant.
Yeah, all of a sudden the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, all of us, fantasy football or otherwise, were like, these tight ends are doing nothing. Kelce's doing nothing.
We Edwards had to wait for National Tight End Day.
We'll get to that later.
Foreshadow.
And then more wide receiver injuries. Jesus.
Good Lord, how many Achilles and ACLs are we going to have?
Stephon Diggs.
Done.
And this is going to hurt him going into next year because he's going to be a free agent. But Stephon Diggs tears his ACL. He is done for the year. Christian Kirk, somebody the Jacksonville Jaguars were shopping, breaks his collarbone, and he is out for the year. And then their other young receiver, Brian Thomas Jr., initially feared that he was going to miss 2 to 3 weeks. Looks like he might be able to, with chest injuries, come back this week. But wow, if he doesn't, that leaves Trevor Lawrence with nothing.
Yeah.
We can rip on him all we want in terms of being overpaid. But this is going to be like the Baker Mayfield situation in Tampa.
Yeah.
He's going to have nobody to throw to except his tight end.
But at least Mayfield can complete a pass.
Oh, see, there you go. You had to get your dig in. You had to get your dig in on Trevor Lawrence.
I did, because it's warranted.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield's proven. You want to put those two side by side, dealing with the same type of situation. Baker Mayfield's better. Baker Mayfield can make other guys around him better. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes. But he has proven that he just got drafted into a bad situation.
Yep.
And just had to get to the right place to be a little bit nurtured, get a little bit of confidence,
mature a little bit himself,
have some tools around him to work with. All right, so as we go back through last week's games, Rams are back. The Rams are back, kids.
With a little home cooking from the refs.
Yes. I will admit that I watched that game, and not only was it the last play with the face mask
that wasn't called,
but there were multiple instances where the Rams stalled on third down. We're going to have to punt, and then, oh, look, look.
There's a flag that
pretty
comes
yellow
in.
4 or 5 times by my count. And the announcers were in, Herb Street and Michaels were in on it as well. And they said they noticed it a couple times, said, I didn't see anything there.
There's no penalty
there. I didn't
there.
see an interference call there. I didn't see a hold there. And by the way, and I know we've brought this up before, the most useless fucking job in the world, because they never say anything controversial, are these idiot former referees that they put in the booth and go, oh, let's go over to Gene Steratore and see what he thinks.
Oh, they're going to be right all the time.
They never, ever
call out the egregious, horrible job the officials actually do.
They should just get them off the broadcast completely. Completely and totally.
They add nothing.
Because if they're not going to, like you say, if they're not going to once in a while say, that was a bad call, or that was a call that should have been flagged or whistled, if you're not going to be anywhere close to unbiased, then get the hell out of the booth.
We don't
Go work
you.
at the goddamn Burger King down the road and leave the rest of us alone so we can watch the game.
Stop insulting the fans' intelligence.
Now, I will say this about the Rams. Of course, this was last Thursday night's game where the Rams won 30-20 over the Vikings. The Vikings now have lost 2 in a row. I don't think they're in any kind of trouble. They still look solid. They still look good. The defense worried me, though.
Yeah, tell me about it. They looked awful for the first time all season.
Yeah, they could not get to Matthew Stafford. I think one time he was under pressure.
Yeah, that was unusual.
But he got both his receivers back. Notice the pattern, the trend of what we're talking about here. Matthew Stafford didn't look like crap. He was hot garbage for the first month and a half of the season. And then he gets Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua back.
Oh, and suddenly things open up.
All of a sudden, 4 touchdown passes. He's a stud again.
Gotta have options.
Then we move on to Sunday. This past Sunday, I don't know what's going on in Cincinnati with that Bengals team.
Stefanski needs to go.
No, that's not
Oh, no,
Stefanski.
wait,
That's Zach Taylor.
Taylor, sorry.
Yeah, Stefanski's
the
Cleveland.
Browns. But, yeah, Taylor, you have got to move on. The slow starts, the inconsistency.
I think you're right. I think this is it. You can't...
Is this his 7th year?
He's been there for a while, yeah. I don't know if it's 7 years, but he's been there for a while. The Eagles come in with the most hated coach in the NFL, and Nick Sirianni, but they've got so much talent, and somehow he figures out a way to get Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith to play well together, and they win by 20 in Cincinnati, 37-17. And Joe Burrow, I love Joe Burrow, don't get me wrong. I love Joe Cool. But he's doing his press conference, and he's laid back, and he's like, well, you do the math, then we got to do what? Go 7-2 the rest of the way? We can do that. How about you do it now?
Why can you not start out that way? Why do you always wait till the last half of the season?
And like you said, it's not. Joe Burrow's not going anywhere.
Nope,
it's going to have to be Zach, and they're going to have to, even though they are a notoriously cheap franchise. The Bengals are going to have to open up the vault and keep Jamar Chase. Now they'll probably. I'm wondering if they're going to trade T. Higgins this week.
It would not be out of the realm of possibility. Now, do the Chiefs pick him up?
God. Oh my God! If the Chiefs pick him up, then
game over.
Yeah, forget it. They're gonna three-peat. But this whole, I have him on my fantasy team, yes. So I've been monitoring his entire year, and it's this out, in, really good for a couple weeks, out. Now he's out, maybe back in, and it just happens to be right around the trade deadline.
Yeah, isn't that convenient?
And now the Bengals stumbling again. I don't know what they're going to do. But the Bengals have got to figure out a way to be a winning franchise. You got lucky. You got one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. You got lucky again. You got his former teammate, one of the best young wide receivers in the game. You didn't keep Joe Mixon.
Mistake.
Yeah, now you get a very mediocre two-headed monster in the backfield, which doesn't help the offense.
No, they don't do anything.
Your defense is falling apart. And like you said, Dave, they get off to these awful starts and they just kind of, oh, well, we'll bounce back because we did it a couple years ago. Yeah.
That doesn't do you any damn good. Then you're burned out and you're going to flop again in the playoffs.
You bury yourself in a hole year after year after year. Once in a while, somebody's going to show up with a shovel and throw dirt in your face.
Yep.
Sorry.
And maybe it needs to be done to Taylor.
Because this is the thing. Same thing with the Bears. You have got the talent there. You should be able to, if you weren't cheap-ass organizations like the Bengals and the Bears, to attract top-level head coaching talent. I get Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I get Caleb Williams and DJ Moore and Roma Dunze.
Come on.
Oh, wait. You're going to pay me half as much as I'm worth on the open market?
Bye-bye. All right, we talked Cardinals, Dolphins.
We talked Falcons, Bucks. We've talked a little bit about the Colts. Of course, going to Joe Flacco over Anthony Richardson. The Texans are worrying me. They're
not playing up to...
Pattern again. C.J. Stroud now doesn't have Nico Collins or Stephon Diggs. Again, pattern again. Losing your top wide receivers.
And the others aren't stepping up.
No, Tank Dell frustrated the piss out of me on my fantasy team.
How can he not get open?
I don't know. Considering what he did the last year before he got injured, it's ridiculous. So the Texans beat the Colts. Yes, the Colts even kept it close, 23-20 with Anthony Richardson. So imagine what they can do with Joe Flacco.
Maybe they would have won that game.
Bills destroy the Seahawks in Seattle. Kind of a statement game in a positive way for the Bills, obviously, and a negative way for Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle they were playing decent ball.
Well, they just blew out the week before. They blew out the Falcons.
Yeah.
They destroyed the Falcons. That was their only win. The only win they've had in the last 5 weeks. I can't figure that team out.
No.
We're not going to revisit the Bears Commanders.
Nope.
And then the Cowboys 49ers. This is where we see a better organization beat an egomaniacal owner.
Idiot.
And I heard somebody...
the score was closer than it actually was.
Well, garbage time, again. This is why I won my fantasy matchup, is because garbage time, I wake up Monday morning and I see C.D. Lamb's got almost 40 points. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Everything in the closing minutes.
Yeah, the fourth quarter. It was all Dak Prescott to C.D. Lamb.
Yeah, they can't do it the first part of the game.
No, it's just dink and dunking to him. He might have 7 or 8 catches in the first half, but it's for 40 yards.
Yeah, there's nothing going on there, so.
Right.
Ugh. Absolute stupidity.
So even though the 49ers are dealing with their own injury issues, we've talked about Brandon Ayuk out for the year. Maybe, possibly, we're getting CMC back after the bye.
Yeah, right. I'll believe it when it happens.
But Mason got hurt, and then they put in the third stringer, Gorendo, who tore it up. So I don't... again, the 49ers know about depth. They are smart. The front office, John Lynch, smart. They have depth at every position, so if somebody gets hurt...
Next man up.
Now, will they be able to pull this off, as we've talked about, ad nauseum, when they have to pay Brock Purdy?
That's
right now,
question.
remember, kids, he's getting next to nothing.
Yeah, he is like the league minimum.
Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft.
Who's
they
turning out
have
to
to
be...
keep him. They have to keep him.
He's good. He's solid. He knows how to run that offense.
he's been a little bit down this year, but still one of the better quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
You can't let him go. So the 49ers saved their season, beating the Cowboys 30-24. I believe they get back to 4-4 now. And the West is kind of a train wreck right now. The Cardinals, by tiebreakers, I believe lead the division at 4-4.
Yes.
I think you've got the Cardinals at 4-4, the Seahawks at 4-4, the 49ers at 4-4, and because of a bye week, an early bye week, the Rams are 3-4.
Yeah, it's insane.
Anybody's division. That's why the hope for the Rams is starting to rise.
Yeah, and none of the teams are playing all that well at all. They all have their issues.
So now we move on to this week's games where we'll discuss some of the other teams. Dave, I think I want to go on an island, drink a coconut, drink some coconut milk from a coconut, put on my Gilligan hat.
I think you mean that you're going to enjoy a nice cayenne pepper and water with Mr. Ayahuasca.
Well, I'm going to stay there for a while based on the next couple picks. So this is it. This is it. I swear to God, I swear to the sports frenzy gods. I swear to Dave. I swear to you good people out there in the podcast audience. This is the last time. This is the last time I do this to myself.
This is the last time.
Halloween night, Thursday night, October the 31st. The Houston Texans go into MetLife Stadium to play the New York Jets. God help me, I am taking the Jets.
The hapless Jets.
No Nico Collins. No Stephon Diggs. Tank Dell has not shown me anything this year. C.J. Stroud has been underwhelming. If they can stop Joe Mixon, the only offensive
Who's
weapon.
been able to stop Joe Mixon?
This is it. This is it. This is the game. They have got to show up and give the New York fans some hope. I am on an island. Not with Aaron Rodgers. Not with cayenne pepper and darkness and ayahuasca. I'm just sitting there next to Ginger with my little Gilligan hat on, sipping from a coconut. My island is peaceful without having to deal with all the bullshit
that comes
of Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Everybody else is taking
the Texans.
So let's just keep it going. Let's just keep it going. Now,
there you go.
Instead of Ginger, I could switch to Marianne or a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader here on my little island as I stay on my island.
You know, you should have gone off on that island with Bubblicious all those years ago.
Oh, David! David. Yeah, we were talking about selling coconut heads on the beach.
Yep. But alas.
Missed opportunities, a story of my life. Sunday, November the 3rd. Cowboys at the Falcons. Yes. Yes, I am on an island again.
No, you are not.
Oh, Aaron. Oh, Aaron's
with you on the Cowboys.
I don't want to put my arm around him, but although he's a great guy, but
there's a line.
So Aaron and I, sorry, I thought that was going to be a back-to-back island pick. No, Aaron and I are taking the Cowboys. I have already pointed out that I don't trust Kirk Cousins when he's not playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they've got the weapons, they've got the talent. Dallas is desperate.
Dallas needs to prove to me that they could actually show up before I will take them again.
They are possibly getting a lot of guys back on defense this week.
Maybe.
Might get Micah Parsons back, might get some secondary guys back.
Maybe.
This is it. I'm doing it again. For the last time. The Cowboys. They play better on the road than they do at home.
Yep.
Cowboys for me and Aaron. Everybody else takes the Falcons. 7, by the way, of our 8 panelists have their picks in. Check out our Facebook page for the rest of our picks. All 8 panelists before Thursday night's kickoff.
Yep. Then the Dolphins go to Orchard Park to play the Bills. You would think this is a no-brainer, Bills across the board, but no! Nick is on Dolphin Island.
He's probably got the same mentality that I just had with the Jets and the Cowboys. If not now, when? The difference is the Bills are a hell of a lot better than the Texans and the Falcons.
Yeah, at home, no. No. The Dolphins are just a hot mess. No.
And it almost looks like the addition of Amari Cooper. It didn't do much for Amari Cooper, but I think it spurred on the other wide receivers.
Everybody else stepped it up.
Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir have decided, oh, now I guess we got to play now because now we got competition.
Oh, gee, where was that earlier, dumbasses?
All right, I put this one on here just for fun. I don't want to see
if
anybody...
You picked angry.
Yes, I want to see if anybody bid on this one.
No, Raiders at the Bengals, seriously.
We just spent 10 minutes ripping apart the Bengals, and now everybody's taking the Bengals.
Because they're better than the Raiders.
We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, everybody, all 7 picks that are in, taking the Bengals.
Yep. Oh, we got a lot of love here. Chargers at the Browns. A lot of love for Jameis Winston leading the Browns.
Yeah, Chargers at the Browns, and the Chargers, here's the interesting thing. This happens once in a while as I do my research. Number one, Chargers favored. When I put this together, 1.5 favorites. I don't know what it is now. And number two, when I checked ESPN's expert picks, everybody who got their picks in took the Chargers. And I'm like, did you not see the energy that Jameis Winston brought to this team? Nick Chubb coming back helps. Then you've got Jameis Winston, and the fans and everybody, the players go, we have hope now. No, Deshaun Watson, he's gone forever. Or
that
at least for this year.
anchor is away from that team.
And now you accidentally mentioned Kevin Stefanski.
Right.
Kevin Stefanski is a good head coach. He was just saddled with
a shit quarterback.
Yeah, the pervert who can't play football anymore.
Because the owners got a Woody over getting Deshaun Watson and overpaying.
Yeah, that was Deshaun's big problem.
Yes, it was.
Can I get a massage? Whoop! Don't mind the tent pole. Don't worry about that.
Oh, just massage that away too.
But like I said, we are going completely opposite of the experts on this one.
And what have you seen? I mistakenly picked the Chargers last week, thinking that they could overcome by defense. That offense is awful.
It's too pedestrian. We've talked about this. Harbaugh will get it fixed. He needs more time, though.
Yeah.
He knew he had the quarterback.
But he doesn't have anything else.
Herbert's not doing anything spectacular, but he's not turning the ball over.
Right.
I believe he has 8 touchdowns, only 1 pick. He's doing like the Troy Aikman thing. You know, dink and dunk. He doesn't have receivers to throw to.
No. So they're just managing what they can.
The Browns look dynamic now all of a sudden on offense.
Yeah. And at home, come on.
And everybody forgets their defense is pretty damn good.
They got a decent defense, yes.
Now, are they too far in the hole to get out with only 2 wins?
Maybe, but they're going to show what they can do.
So everybody on our panel of the 7 picks except
Nick going with the Chargers.
Everybody else taking the Browns. Of course, at home in Cleveland. Trash game.
This is the ultimate trash game. Good Lord.
This all boils down to whether, and this is another wrinkle that's been added the last couple years that drives me absolutely fucking crazy. Not only in football picks, but in fantasy football, is concussion protocol.
Yeah.
How long?
How
long? Usually they tell you got to be in it at least 1 full week before you can really honestly expect to come back. But then we see players somehow miraculously emerge.
I think
in
we're
4 or 5
fine.
days. So that's the thing.
Will Drake May play or not? That's what it comes down to.
That is the kicker. That's going to decide how the Patriots at the Titans goes. I don't think he's going to play.
I think he'll come out there.
All right, so we're pretty close to a split here. You can't split with 7 picks.
But Titans for you and Sam and Bill and Nick, while I've got the Patriots along with Doug and Aaron. Like we said, it's a trash game.
Yep, but sometimes those are the toughest ones to pick and the funnest ones.
Yes.
Here's
Another trash game.
Yeah, another one. Look at that.
Back-to-back trash games.
This one's worse, technically.
Oh, it is. The Saints at the Panthers. Yeah.
Now, I will explain why I put this game on the agenda. Because, again, question marks about, will Derek Carr be back for the Saints? Will Andy Dalton start?
No,
for the
they're
Panthers?
saying already that Bryce Young is starting.
That came out today, yes.
Yep.
So, we're getting Derek Carr most likely back for the Saints. We are going to get another week of Bryce Young quarterbacking the Panthers. That makes this an easy pick.
Yep, Saints across the board.
Now, see, if it had been no Derek Carr and Andy Dalton,
then
that would have made it interesting.
It would have been a harder pick.
Yes.
Oh,
the poor Broncos. The poor Broncos. They have had such a great season so far.
They've had a nice little run of late, but
Bo Nix looking really good.
Now
I would say he's the best rookie quarterback. Dare I say that? I think he's been the best rookie quarterback.
He's been up there with Mr. Daniels.
But it all comes to a crashing, screeching halt.
Because you've got a Ravens team that wants to reclaim their top spot after the turd they laid last week.
And that's the thing that shocks me, is that the Ravens have laid 2 massive turds this year.
Games
with the
they
Browns
should have won easily.
And with the Raiders.
How do you lose that Raiders game?
Because I know goddamn well this team will be there at the end.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs somehow figure out a way to win. The Ravens can't do that.
No, there's just something there that they're missing.
The defense is not
it's
the legendary Baltimore defense we're used to.
They're susceptible.
Yep. But that being said, it's just going to be an angry Ravens team at home.
Yeah, Ravens across the board.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Chicago Bears go out west to play the surging Arizona Cardinals.
I've lost all confidence in the Bears coming off that abysmal, horrible performance in Washington. They have a lot to prove to me. If they can bounce back on this, I will gladly be wrong taking the Cardinals.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I hope they bounce back. I don't have any faith in Eberflus.
You and I and Sam going with the Arizona Cardinals. Bill, Nick, Doug, and Aaron going with the Bears.
There you go.
Now, after last week, I'm with you. I have no faith in that team.
You have got to re-earn my trust.
Yep, absolutely. Here's another game where injury comes into play. Now, this could be one of those tricky games for the Lions where they could stumble.
Potentially.
As the Lions travel to Lambeau Field and the frozen tundra.
Yeah, it's not going to be that frozen this weekend. Not yet, anyway.
But there are questions about the health again of Jordan Love.
Yep.
He says he thinks he could step in at the last minute without practice and play, but you're dealing with the best team arguably in football.
Yeah. Are you willing to risk him being injured longer?
And that's the thing. I am banking on they're gonna look at their record. They're 6-2?
Yeah.
And they're gonna say
they can absorb a loss here.
Yes. Let him get fully healthy again. Take the hit, put Malik Willis in. Let the Lions get some more confidence, false confidence. Oh, look, we beat up on the Packers.
In Lambeau. And then maybe try and lay in wait for them when you go up to over to Detroit.
Yep. So across the board, Lions are the pick.
Rams at Seahawks.
We just talked about how the Rams now with healthy wide receivers, arguably the best running back in the game, and Kyron Williams.
And the Seahawks laying a big rotten turd at home.
This blows my mind.
I'm taking the Seahawks along with Doug and Aaron. I do not have full faith in the Rams yet. They got a lot of
Who on the Seahawks side do you have faith in? The first-year head coach?
Metcalf should be coming back.
The retread quarterback, Geno Smith?
Metcalf should be back.
No. Rams. Rams got the better coach, better quarterback, better receivers, even with DK Metcalf.
We'll see where we're at.
All right. I've got the Rams along with Sam, Bill, and Nick. Now, this game becomes a little more interesting. I wouldn't have changed my pick, but
it makes it more intriguing with Joe Flacco starting for the Colts.
Now, the original line was 6. I've got to believe that's plummeting.
It's probably down to 3.
Yep. As the Colts go up to Minneapolis to play the Vikings with Joe Flacco, as we've been talking about, which will make it a much more intriguing game. The Vikings need this win to
have to get it.
Stop the bleeding.
Yep. So we have Nick on Colts Island with the rest of us taking the Vikings.
Yep. And this game could translate to a lot of money for Sam Darnold. If they get to 6-2 versus 5-3. 6-2, still really good playoff shot. 5-3, then things get shaky.
Yep. So now we go Monday night. Buccaneers at the Chiefs. I am going on Buccaneer Island. The Chiefs are not going undefeated. There's a trap game in line for them.
This is again like with the Bears game. This is where I go, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope you're right. And I hope Baker Mayfield, that lion, that warrior, somehow pulls something out of his ass and is able to. But this game 2 weeks ago would have been spectacular.
Oh, it would have been phenomenal. The Chiefs are due to stumble.
Yeah, for a team that's undefeated, they have not impressed people.
No. And they are due. They are due.
The only thing that's helping them out is the fact that most of the rest of the league is playing mediocre to bad football.
Along with them.
Because people, I guarantee you, there's a lot of people, myself included, that still think at 5-3 the Ravens are a better team than them. And now everybody's pretty much saying the Lions are.
Yeah. So, at
the Bills,
what point?
You know, the Bills probably are a better team than them right now. Steelers, I don't know.
I don't think so.
But, yeah, there's no way this team goes undefeated. No way.
No, there's no way in hell.
This is not the Randy Moss, Tom Brady Patriots.
No. No, and this isn't even the Chiefs from last year.
All right, so there's your NFL talk for the week. So now we move on, of course, to college football.
Yep, we have to transition here on Spotify, Good Pods, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, CastBox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby.
And of course, as I mentioned, don't forget to check out the Facebook page for all of our football picks. All 8 panelist picks will be in before Thursday night's kickoff.
Don't forget Saturday morning, your hangover cure, the weekend edition.
We'll have reviews of Trap, Jerry Cantrell's brand new album, I Want Blood, and we'll do our usual catch-up with our TV and streaming. We got a lot of shows we're juggling right now, so...
Yep. So stay tuned, tune in for that.
All right, college. Our teams had a pretty easy go of it this past week as Notre Dame blasted number 24 Navy 51-14. So Notre Dame finally, after a few weeks where they were just kind of
languishing
outside the top 10, they bolt up to number 8 in the AP poll. Now things get weird because next Tuesday we get the BCS poll starts.
Wow.
I hate the BCS poll. I still will always go with the AP ranking. My Miami Hurricanes took care of business with the putrid, awful Seminoles of Florida State. How often do I get to say that? 36-14. So Miami nudges up to number 5 in the AP poll. Revenge game this week. I'm worried. I am worried. It's not on the slate because the point spread, again, like with Florida State, is 3 touchdowns. But Manny Diaz coming back as head coach of Duke. There's a revenge factor there. That worries me.
Yeah. Will the Canes defense be able to step up 2 weeks in a row? Duke's offense is not horrendous.
No. I will watch it. I will be worried, but I will watch it noon kickoff here this coming Saturday. But that's not on our slate.
No.
First, let's talk about last week's games. Not all of them. We'll just hit the highlights.
We'll hit the highlights.
Boise State Friday night. Last Friday night, October the 25th.
Took care of business.
Yeah, I really thought UNLV might have something there. But they fall short 29-24. So Boise continues to look at locking in that at-large bid in the 12-team playoff field. Indiana continues to win as they steamroll Washington. I'm really rooting for the Hoosiers. I'm rooting for the Hoosiers.
They are playing very well.
Yeah, we'll skip the next few. Get down to LSU and Texas A&M.
Wow.
Great job, Brian Kelly.
Way to go. You let the maestro and I down. The only two thinking that you actually knew what you were doing as a coach. And you lay a big turd at College Station.
Number 8 LSU loses to number 14 Texas A&M 38-23.
You got your ass whooped.
So LSU barely hanging on by a thread now with 2 losses.
Yeah, they're no bueno. And A&M is showing maybe they got something going.
Well, they got rid of Jimbo, and you and I said it for years.
Yep, he was holding them back, and now they've got a legitimate coach.
Gotta be. I know he's got a national title with Florida State.
Yeah, but
gotta be one of the most overrated head
program
coaches.
To the trapper too. He ruined Florida State after that championship.
Gotta be the most overpaid, overrated college football head coach of all time.
Yeah,
just
bad.
We go up north a little bit for the Battle of Michigan. Rivalry week, you'll notice it's supposedly coming up here soon. Will not be the same because with all the scheduling now, with the way the conferences have realigned, you're not getting all of the rivalry games in the same week. So we got Michigan State at Michigan here this past weekend. Michigan State was on a little bit of a bump, little bit of a run. But Michigan held serve at home at the Big House.
Yep.
And then Deion Sanders continues to win.
Yep.
Oh boy. Back in the top 25 now after beating Cincinnati 34-23. Next stop, Dallas. Could you see those two egos together?
God.
Jerry Jones and Deion Sanders.
But you're not going to get Shador down there playing quarterback.
Well, realistically, could he go to Vegas?
Potentially.
I've heard rumblings they will can Antonio Pierce for the right coach after 1 year, 1 full year.
Jets are in need of a head coach and a quarterback.
Yeah, but you got to look at where they're drafting.
That's true.
Although right now with the Jets the way they're playing,
in play.
Yeah, Dallas won't be.
No.
They would have to trade up. All right, so now we move on to this week, but I do have a couple little, can I just do a couple little news tidbits?
Sure, why not?
My Clint Eastwood badass of the week in sports. Pittsburgh. they got a tough matchup coming up. We'll discuss it in a few minutes, but unbelievably impressive. You might say it's because of the ineptitude of Syracuse. Syracuse is not a bad team, but this past week, Pittsburgh picked off not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 Syracuse passes. 3 of them returned
for pick
sixes in a 41-13 victory. So, Pittsburgh Panthers
kudos
are my
for your
badasses of the week.
defense.
Yep. You rarely, if ever, see that kind of defensive scoring,
Yeah.
defensive output in terms of turnovers. So kudos to the Pittsburgh Panthers. But could that be it for the reign, the undefeated run of the Panthers? We'll see in a few minutes.
We will see.
And of course, you know how much Dave and I love Penn State. Love Penn State! That, of course, is the horn of disgrace. They deserve much worse. Yes, we know, James Franklin. It's a different era, a different regime, but somehow...
But still, it's a tainted school.
Some things never change. 2 former players, Penn State players, charged with rape. James Franklin and the administration refused to answer questions.
Oh, there's a shock.
About these former players. Very, very disgusting as I read the recap of the reports on this.
Once again,
Yep.
Players are not held accountable.
Nope. College Station is not all squeaky clean yet, kids.
Nope. Ugh.
But of course, that leads us into our first pick.
Yep. Ohio State at number 4, Ohio State at number 3, Penn State.
I don't trust James Franklin.
Nope. No.
Ohio State's lost 1 game to the number 1 team in the country, and it was damn close.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ryan Day is the greatest coach on the face of the earth.
I can't stand Day. He is the biggest wuss bag.
But he's at least won some big games.
He has. And this is a big game. He almost had his team win at Oregon. He's not going to lose to Franklin.
So you and I have the Buckeyes, as does Doug, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
The other 4,
wow.
Sam and Bill, Nick and Aaron taking Penn State.
And I can tell you Mrs. C will take Ohio State because she never picks Penn State on principle.
Yep. Mrs. C, we're still waiting on her picks, but it's all good. You'll get her picks along with all these other ones on our Facebook page tomorrow night.
Yep. Mississippi at Arkansas.
A disappointing year for Lane Kiffin. We thought
this would be
I had
his
him in
year.
my final 4. I thought, he had the quarterback, and he stumbled and bumbled and fucked around now, and he screwed it up again. So Mississippi is once again middle pack in the
2
SEC.
losses.
And now there is no easy win in the SEC anymore.
No, this is a tough, feisty Arkansas team. They don't have a great record, but they have got some upsets.
Yep. Aaron is going with the Razorbacks. The rest of us, dare I say begrudgingly, are taking the Rebels.
Yeah. Lane has muffed his couple of games.
I know you love this game.
Oh, my God.
Here's my question, number 1. Minnesota at number 24, Illinois. What did Illinois do? Okay, they lost to Oregon.
I just don't like Illinois football. Traditionally.
But the thing is, Minnesota favored on the road
How?
and Illinois by 3?
How is Minnesota favored in this game?
Yeah.
Minnesota sucks.
I cannot fathom how Minnesota, at least the opening line, was favored by a field goal on the road against a ranked opponent like Illinois.
And Illinois is better than Minnesota.
Our panel agrees. Everybody. 7 picks that are in across the board.
Illinois.
All for the Illini. Vanderbilt, of course, no longer the doormat of the SEC. But now they go down to Alabama to play Auburn.
Auburn's not having their strongest season ever, but I'm sorry, it's still Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I think the momentum for Vanderbilt is kind of waning a little bit. Not trying to take... They'll get to the bowl game.
Taking nothing away from what they've done.
You remember, this team would barely get 2 or 3 wins every year. And now they'll probably get 6 or 7 and get to a bowl. But going into play Auburn, Auburn needs this game badly to try to get 6 wins and be bowl eligible.
Yeah.
That's my thinking, my logic for taking this. So I'm taking Auburn.
So am I, and so is Sam. The rest going with Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Bill, Nick, Doug, and Aaron all going with Vandy. And that's despite the fact that Auburn's favored by a touchdown.
Yeah.
Had to put this one on. I love the smaller schools.
Yep, Old Dominion at Appalachian State. God, as much as I like Appalachian State,
they're not having a great year.
They're not having a great year. Old Dominion is playing very good football.
Yep, so you and I, Bill, the 3 of us are taking Old Dominion. Sam, Nick, Doug, and Aaron going with Appalachian State.
And I guarantee Mrs. C is going with Appalachian State, too.
Here you go, Dave. Another one you...
Shit game. Fuck these 2 programs. Fuck these 2 coaches.
Wisconsin at Iowa.
I hate these 2.
Well, considering the fact that usually they both fuck us over, only one of them can fuck us over this time.
Good God.
And I will go with Kirk Ferentz to not fuck us over.
Right. I will take the home team in this game, Iowa. Everybody's going Iowa, but Nick and Doug going with Wisconsin.
All right, we just talked about Texas A&M, now up into the top 10 in the AP poll. We talked about Mississippi and Arkansas, another feisty home team. South Carolina.
Yep. I'm taking the Cox at home. A&M just got the big win. They will fall.
That's not a big win. A big win would have been beating Alabama or Georgia.
Hey, they still beat LSU, the favored team.
No. Mike Elko will have this team focused as opposed to his predecessor, Jimbo Fisher.
Nope.
I am finally a believer in Texas A&M. I usually pick against them.
But there's another stumble here.
You're on Cox Island.
Yep.
Dave is on
You were there a couple of weeks ago.
Everybody else, the 7 picks, 6 of the 7, Texas A&M. Dave on Cox Island with South Carolina. Here's another one.
Interesting.
Another couple of teams that always screw us over.
Yeah. God, USC at Washington. Neither team really playing all that well this year.
No, but Washington has not come through for me so many times this year when I thought they were better. Now, this could be arguably a little bit of a hangover from last year. I know they don't have the same players when they went to the title game, but I expected more from them. And this is now, like I talked about a few minutes ago with Auburn, this is desperation time for USC. Actually, both of these teams need to win this.
Desperation time for both.
They're both sitting at 4-4 to get to 6 wins and get to a bowl. God help me, this is my last time! I said it with the Jets. I said it with the Cow. Last time for Lincoln Riley, goddammit. I'll take USC.
Yep. I am taking Washington along with Aaron at home. The rest of you can take the prophylactics.
Yep. Taking the condoms. Number 18, Pittsburgh at number 20, SMU. Cannot believe I'm saying this, but this is a crucial ACC battle.
It is. 2 ranked ACC teams.
And the thing is, a lot of people are saying whoever wins this will have an inside track to play either Miami or Clemson in the ACC title game.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's got quarterback issues.
They
Their
do.
quarterback is dinged up right now. SMU has been playing very well as of late.
SMU has been solid.
And they're favored, at least the opening line, over a touchdown favorite because of the uncertainty, I would imagine,
Yeah.
around the Pittsburgh quarterback situation.
They're at home. SMU's got one loss. Pittsburgh, as you said earlier, undefeated. I don't know that Pittsburgh can run the table.
So you and I and Bill and Sam taking SMU, whereas Nick, Doug, and Aaron go with Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And then our final college game of the week.
Two other shitty teams that fuck us over every which way but
Don't
lose.
you love how I do this to the panel every week?
Same goddamn shit teams.
Yep. TCU, these middle pack Big 12 teams. Just like the middle pack SEC teams and the middle pack Big 12 teams. TCU at Baylor. I'm kind of surprised at this being
an across the board
complete
for
and total
Baylor.
unanimous pick for Baylor. As they're only favored by a field goal and they're at home. So that's what they would get, 3 points at home.
Yeah.
Baylor just looks like they're playing better.
They are right now, and
A little better.
a little bit.
We
And
could
again,
all
this is
take a bath
frickin'
on this.
crapshoot.
We could all take a bath on
Odds
that one.
are we will all go down together on this one.
Yeah, that's gonna be a slobber knocker, a ding dong dilly.
Yeah,
as
watch.
Bill would
TCU's
say.
going to blow them out of the friggin' water.
Yeah, I know. So now we move on. Football, regretfully, is done for the week, but we still have to talk about baseball. Big news in baseball outside of the World Series. And then,
Yep.
of course, NASCAR winding down. We have the penultimate race in the playoffs. A little bit of hockey, a little bit of basketball, and, of course, some dumbasses.
Yep.
So,
And a moment of silence.
but let us move on to baseball. All right, so you would think as we move into baseball, the first thing, let's talk about the Yankees and the Dodgers and the World Series. No!
Fuck them.
We got big news for Dave's White Sox, so let's do that first.
Sure, why not? New manager. Hey, maybe this is still a crappy lineup. He's got to be better. We got to improve by at least 20 wins. We're still a 100-loss team. There's nothing there, really. But the hope is Will Venable, will, as the new manager, will at least help bring the Sox into the new way of being run. So, had a solid career as a player, has been a starter, has been a bench player. He's done some front office work with the Cubs under Theo Epstein, so he knows a little bit on that side. He's been a coach under Joe Madden. Last couple years he's spent under Bruce Bochy with the Rangers.
That's what I was going to say.
Having won a World Series. So he's been a bench coach and a field coach under two of the top managers over the last couple decades.
Yeah, I think that's what's got to be encouraging.
So he knows what a winning culture looks like. Hopefully that will transition. So why he decided now, because by all accounts, thoughts were he was the heir apparent in Texas. But maybe it wasn't as clear as all of that.
Well, no, all I heard is that Bochy has got his love for coaching back even after having a really down year here with the Rangers, that he's not talking about retirement anytime soon.
So there you go.
So that's
this is his opportunity. See what he can do. Maybe help reclaim the Sox to some semblance of respectability in 4, 5, 6 years.
It can't get any worse.
No, he cannot do any worse. So we'll see how it goes.
So
and his older brother played for the Bears as a special teams guy back in 2011, 12, in that era. So history in Chicago for the Venable family.
And he's very well respected. Very well
He
respected. So,
I
think
feel
it's a
better.
good hire.
I
think
feel
it's a good
better
hire.
about
really
him than any of the other names that had bantied about.
What, Skip Schumacher?
Yeah.
So good news, see?
It's a little bit
The
of
off-season's
positive.
starting off on a positive note for you. So we'll see what happens once the World Series ends.
Yep.
And then we start with the free agency. Although
And
that usually doesn't kick in till
after the first of the year.
Late December when they have the meetings, usually down in Orlando.
So.
But of course, that doesn't include Scott Boris's clients
because they'll wait until after spring training.
Yeah, April.
So, jackass.
All right, couple little news. Yes, we'll get to the World Series. I really don't give two rip shits because I'm gonna get mad about one thing, but we're getting a little bit ridiculous here. We tried to speed the game up, right? We tried to speed the game up with the pitch clock.
Yes, I liked it.
But now it seems like they're trying to find new ways to slow the game down. Now I have heard that being tested in, I believe, the Arizona Fall League, which is usually where they test all this stuff, check swing challenges.
No.
Where they're supposedly using the same technology that they use for the robo-umps that they are, again, testing. How many times during a game?
To challenge
how many
everything?
times during a game do they appeal to the first base or the third base umpire on a check swing? And
every freaking at bat.
If we're going to challenge all those, or challenge 4 or 5 of them,
you're going to have a 6-hour game.
Yeah. Just when you think Rob Manfred has figured something right out,
they go and screw this one up. Just let it alone.
Now, of course, another thing that I mentioned to you a few days ago as we were preparing for our podcast was that the Players Union came out and said that teams are abusing their pitchers and they need to cut down on what they're expecting and asking of their pitchers.
Bullshit! The pitchers are pansy-ass babies who need to throw more. They don't need to throw as hard. They need to learn how to pitch and stay in the damn game longer.
And this coming on the heels of...
Then they should, if they want less work, they get paid a hell of a lot less.
This coming on the heels, of course, Game 1 of the World Series where Yankee fans criticized Aaron Boone for pulling Garrett Cole after 88 pitches.
Come on, that's ridiculous.
And then, of course, last week with the Dodgers, we had the death of Fernando Valenzuela, who, in a crucial game, I do believe in the World Series, threw roughly 140 pitches.
Yeah.
This is all a mockery of those pitchers like Valenzuela, like Nolan Ryan.
Roger Clemens.
Yes. The Bulldogs, the guys that would go out there and they would basically tell the manager when they saw him coming up the steps, go down. Go back down those goddamn steps.
Give me the guy who will throw 200-plus innings a year.
And we talked about how that's going by the wayside. Here's another interesting stat that ties into this. This past season, either pitchers who took the mound for a major league team or were on the injured list for a major league team, 38.8% of all pitchers that I just mentioned with those qualifications have either had or are undergoing Tommy John surgery. 38.8%.
That tells me these guys are not preparing well. There's something wrong.
How the hell did we get by with Bob Gibson and Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax before the procedure was invented?
You never saw these arm problems be amassed at this rate except over the last several years where, we've got all of these pitching clinics or pitch labs. The pitch labs where we got to increase the spin rate. We've got to do something with the torque and the angle. We got to throw max speed. No, that's what's ruining the pitchers, not the number of innings they're throwing. They do not know how to pitch anymore. They're expected to give max effort with every throw. That is ridiculously stupid.
And this is the hypocrisy. We see this in football, where we talk about player safety, yet all we do is celebrate these hard hits and the guys launching themselves at the other players, the vulnerable receiver. Yes, they will throw a flag now on that, but still, everybody loves to see it.
No, not everybody loves to see that.
And same thing with baseball, though. They will always the
I
idiots
do not
on
want to
ESPN.
see 100 miles an hour with every damn pitch. I want to see a guy who can throw a complete game.
But these idiots who are doing the games for ESPN and FS1 and TNT, they will just crow and brag about, oh my God, Aroldis Chapman at his age is still throwing over 100 miles an hour. And they build it up and they build it up. And then these kids want to throw like that, and they're blowing their arms out.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Nobody's teaching them the nuances of how to pitch, like a Greg Maddux or a Tom Glavine.
Or Mark Burley.
Right. You had to get Mark Burley in there,
I
didn't
did,
you?
because
And
that
Kyle Hendricks!
The professor is another perfect example.
Just because he had a bad year this year.
But
I have heard
I
rumors
want
that he
guys
might be
who-
back. Because he's willing to take a $3 or $4 million salary.
I want the guy who has finesse, who knows how to throw the ball, how to spot where they want it, in, out, up, down, throwing different speeds.
Yep.
You can zone in on you can lay in wait for that fastball easily. But if you don't know what speed it's coming in or what kind of breaking ball is going to be thrown,
Right.
keep the hitter off balance. Learn how to pitch.
We're just a stupid society. You get a good thing and you find a way to fuck it up.
Yep, as everything happens.
Which brings us to the World Series. They're playing right now Game 5. The Yankees have jumped out to an early lead. Oh my God, Aaron Judge actually hit a home run.
What? He actually showed up? He's no Freddie Freeman.
Well, not my worst nightmare, but God help me if the Yankees come back and win this thing.
God.
Being down. That will cement Dave Roberts as the worst manager ever.
Absolutely. If he cannot pull this off.
Because as you just mentioned, Freddie Freeman, home run in each of the first 4 games, including a walk-off grand slam in Game 1 in the 10th inning. So the Dodgers jump out, as I mentioned, to a 3-0 lead. They lost last night in New York 11-4.
Because Dave Roberts, God forbid, we actually do anything to try and help win the game.
He conceded the game.
He did. He conceded the game. I'm sticking with the plan. I'm sticking with my plan.
He didn't want to burn up his bullpen. So he said, I'll just give this game up and make sure that the next 3 games I've got my bullpen guys lined up along with my starters.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out for you.
Yeah, you don't go for the throat. Come back and bite you in the ass. Of course, Shohei Ohtani is not 100%.
Nope.
He injured his shoulder in Game 2.
Talking possible surgery after this is over.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
That they're going to have to pay him. I know, not now. Not now. God forbid they're not paying him now. But then last night, the most egregious, idiotic, stupid bullshit I have seen in a long time
Two
in
stupid
baseball.
fucking retard New York jamokes who have no business being in a stadium. These two fucktards.
Oh, but they're season ticket holders, Dave.
Yeah, and these two fucktards brag about joking. Oh, we're patrolling. If it comes close to us, we're going to do what we can to play D. We're going to throw the D down and help our team. Yeah. How's that work out? You almost broke Mookie Betts' wrist. That was fucking stupid, prying the ball out of his mitt after he made the catch while your fucktard buddy is trying to pull his arm up at a bad angle. Betts, to his credit, said, all's good, I get it. No, Mookie. They could have...
We'll defend you. We'll come out in your defense.
You fucking should have contacted the police and pressed assault charges on those two assholes. There is no reason for that shit.
You watch the replays of that.
It is egregiously
and you people
awful.
know. And you people know. Dave and I aren't snowflakes. Dave and I are not. We're old school. But what these idiots pulled in the first row in the outfield at Yankee Stadium was, yes, as Dave said, assault. The guy was bending back Mookie Betts' wrist. I'm shocked it wasn't sprained, let alone broken. And then his buddy grabs his other arm.
Yeah, it was... Oh, God.
And then the New York media and the New York fans are applauding him and cheering him.
And you fucking morons have no clue about anything. It's bad enough with fan interference. That is beyond. That is over the fucking line.
Yeah, to this day.
These assholes should be gone forever for that shit.
Yeah.
You do not touch the players.
Who was that punk-ass kid? Jeffrey Mayer years ago.
Oh, that little shithead?
That they still to this day think is a legend because he interfered and basically got a fly ball ruled a home run.
Yeah, the little shitbird.
But yeah, this is over the line. And you Yankee fans, you wonder why Dave and I sit here and rail on you. We bitch and piss and moan about the West Coast. And yes, I don't think I'd want to go see a game at Dodger Stadium because people seem to get killed in the parking lot every game. But this is the unique to New York shit where they celebrate
stupidity.
These idiots. And they act like they're folk heroes now for almost breaking one of the big star players in Major League Baseball, almost breaking his wrist as he's trying to play the game. And it took them until early this afternoon to finally tell them, well, you can't come tonight either. They got kicked out of Game 4, but nobody said anything about Game 5.
Until late when MLB had to come down and say, they are done. You haven't said anything, we're saying it. The Yankees organization is pathetic.
The lack of common sense.
The common decency.
Between the New York media, the New York fans, the New York
Yankees organization.
That you people couldn't see this like everybody else in the country did. It's sick. It's a sick mentality.
You fucking entitled assholes.
And I call out Boomer and Gio. Gio's joking about it, talking about other folk heroes now. It's really, in the end, it's entertainment. Hey, no, it's not! It's assault! You idiot! It's assault! That's a mugging. I know you're used to that in New York, but that's a goddamn mugging.
Ugh.
And now, with the Yankees jumping out to the lead in Game 5, I'm just like, nightmare scenario. Bad enough I have to root for the Dodgers to win this. But now, if we get the Yankees with momentum going back out to the West Coast.
God help us.
Oh, and I know baseball's loving it because they want to stretch this thing out to 7 games.
Fuck this shit.
Yeah, and I've heard the ratings. They brag about the ratings. The ratings are fine.
If you include Japan.
No, the ratings are fine, but they keep saying best since 2018. Best since 20... So it's only 7 years. You go back before 2017, the ratings were better. Even though this is supposedly the greatest Titanic matchup of all time.
That tells you nobody except those on either coast give a rat's rip shit.
All right. Whew. And I know I went off the rails on the weekend edition last week. I'm trying to not do that. I was a little worried after I posted the weekend edition that I was going to have black helicopters over the house. But now we move on to NASCAR. Let's move on to NASCAR. Recap last weekend's Homestead Miami race. Interesting race. I actually deferred to this race after that idiotic, awful first half from the Bears. I was like, I can't watch this. I just can't.
Yeah, I subjected myself to the whole miserable experience.
So I jumped over, watched the race. Very good race. Record lead changes for Homestead Miami. 33 lead changes.
Wow, that's actually good.
It was
usually
a
it's
very
a
entertaining race.
Usually it's an awful race.
Very entertaining race. Tyler Reddick got the pole. Tyler Reddick wins. Now, again, overreaction.
Did he win or did Blaney fuck up?
No, Reddick won, but the booth, of course, the stupid-ass NBC booth, that's one of the greatest passes we've ever seen in the history of NASCAR!
Oh, God.
I'm like, no, it's not! Reddick had a good run coming off the final turn. He passed Blaney. He won the... It wasn't like Ross Chastain. That was one of the greatest passes.
At Martinsville?
Yes.
Where the Hail Melon?
Yes.
Ride the wall all the way through.
Yes, that.
That was phenomenal.
That was one of the greatest passes of all time. This was just a driver doing what he's supposed to do.
Driver got a good run.
Doing what he's supposed to do. Win the goddamn race. So, Reddick locked in now to the championship 4 along with Joey Logano. 2 spots left. 1 race to go. Your boy, Kyle Larson, he's got issues. He's got problems.
What the hell is wrong with that damn team?
No, it's not. This was on him. This was all on him because...
Oh, did he fuck up in the pits again?
Twice! On track! Not in the pits, on track!
What the hell? He never messes up on track.
Well, they were talking about it, the commentators, talking about Kyle Larson and how he says, sometimes I'm too aggressive and I pay for it. Early on, he hit the wall, which sent him back. He had to go into the pits, get 4 tires, get everything straightened out and pulled away. Made the charge all the way back up to the front of the pack. And then he got too aggressive with a couple laps to go, and he spun out, which allowed Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick owes him, should send him a fruit basket for Christmas, because Tyler Reddick had stayed out as long as humanly possible, had to eventually pit with about, I would say about 20 laps to go, 22 laps to go. Everybody else had already been in. They were not coming back in. Reddick comes back out. He is a full lap down with 15 to go. With 15 to go, he's a full lap down. He does have the freshest tires, but everybody's wondering, does he have enough time to actually make up a full lap on Ryan Blaney?
No, should not have.
2 laps later, what happens? Kyle Larson gets too aggressive, trying to make a pass up at the top. He was either second or third, spins out. Reddick gets to stay out while everybody else has to pit. So Reddick jumps up to the front. Not enough wear on the tires to impact his car that much to the point where he couldn't win the race. It's Kyle Larson's fault.
Larson, you idiot!
And so now Larson's on the outside looking in, I do believe. If he is in the Final Four, it's by 1 or 2 points. I know Bell's probably in by about 22 points, maybe. So somebody's going to get in on points. Somebody is going to either win or get in on points with that second slot.
Yeah. And Martinsville, there's no guarantee that one of the Chase guys can win it.
Yep.
Because that little bull ring, the way they knock into each other and battle, it's a crapshoot.
Then we had our first ever, after this race, wet weather tire test at an intermediate track At Homestead, Miami.
Oh, bullshit. They're never going to run in the rain on an intermediate track. They won't even run in the rain on a short track.
And when they
won't even run in the rain on a road course. Because they're too much of a pussy to do it. NASCAR sucks.
And when they do, they fuck it up.
Yeah. They are so pathetically bad.
Oh, speaking of which, they decided to, here at a recent press conference, say no comment after Saudi Arabia. This new project they've got in Riyadh, the Qiddiya Tourism and Entertainment Project, featuring a racetrack. Asked about, does this mean NASCAR will be racing in Saudi Arabia in the near future?
Now, they do have the road course that F1 runs. Did they put an oval in?
Yeah, it's an oval. It's going to be a new track completely. And NASCAR would not comment. Again, it's called the Qiddiya Tourism and Entertainment Project, of course, in Riyadh. Everything happens in Riyadh.
Yeah.
Boy,
what kind of expenses are the Saudis going to have to pony up to get everybody over there?
This is going to be just like with the live golfers. They're going to overpay. They're going to offer to pay the transport cost, because there's no way. We got the bickering and the fighting going on right now with the charter system.
Yeah, there's no way
where they're saying they're barely breaking even. The Saudis are going to have to pony up for everything.
Yeah, that's... well, they got the damn money to do it.
And they might.
They've got the money to do it.
All right, so as Dave mentioned, we move on to our picks for the penultimate race. Race number 9 in the playoffs this coming Sunday, November the 3rd, 2024. As you said, the Bull Ring at Martinsville. The Xfinity 500. Now our Frenzy Cup competition has tightened up. I still don't know why Bill took Austin Dillon last week. He opened the door for Nick.
Yep, Nick took advantage and closed the gap big time.
Yep, so now things are interesting. Now my hand was forced. I'm in 3rd place. My hand was forced. Nick's in the best shape. Nick's got 2 quality drivers left for the final 2 races.
He does.
I got 1. I had to kind of play opposite. I didn't even look at Nick. I couldn't compete with Nick. But I had to look. Bill had the same driver I did. And I'm like, I've got to do the opposite of what he does. So, because of that, I didn't want to pull the trigger. I had another driver in mind, but the only chance I have to win this thing is to go opposite of Bill. So I am taking Christopher Bell. Now.
There you go.
I wanted to keep him for the championship race. Doug is with me for what that matters. You went with a little bit of a sleeper pick.
I did not. I've got 1 chase driver left that I was thrilled Bill did not save him. So maybe if the stars align, I have an outside long shot chance at this thing. So
it's always good to have hope, Dave.
Yep. There's a slight... You're saying there's a chance. No, I'm going with Chase Briscoe. This is my...
Who runs well at Martinsville?
He runs very well at Martinsville. And God knows what can happen at this track with that last spot on the line with whoever's up there with the beating and the banging. If Briscoe can get himself in position, he could take advantage.
Sam is taking Denny Hamlin. Our leader, Bill, is taking Joey Logano. Now, of course, he can do that because he has Christopher Bell left for Phoenix. That's why I had to pull the trigger on Bell this week, even though I really didn't want to.
Yep, and so, I've got Logano now for the final race.
Yep. Now, Nick goes with Kyle Larson, and I believe he has Tyler Reddick still in his stable for so Nick, to me, is the odds-on favorite to win this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then, as I mentioned, Doug takes Christopher Bell along with me, and Aaron takes the guy I wanted to take. If things had fallen my way, I would have preferred to save Christopher Bell for Phoenix, and I wanted Martin Truex Jr. for Martinsville. Aaron's taken Truex. If I wanted to have any shot, I couldn't match Bill in the final race.
Right.
Because that would mean I'd have to get ahead of him in this race and give myself no chance if I couldn't for the final one. So I had to do this. Had to do it.
Yep, I thought about taking Truex, but he's been so damn inconsistent.
He's been better the last couple races, but still.
Nowhere near where you would feel comfortable.
Right. So I'm going back to my plan A. My plan A was I knew who I was going to run at Phoenix a month ago. But then things kind of got shifted and changed.
Yeah, I originally wanted Reddick for Phoenix. But I had to try and play catch up, and then he rolled himself. Ugh, frustrating.
So we'll see how things play out next week. Now, by the way, next week, you're getting me solo. Because Dave and I have a previous commitment on our taping night next Wednesday night.
So,
yes, we are going to see one of the final shows ever of REO Speedwagon. So, you're going to get me a little bit earlier than normal, so that will be the last group of NASCAR picks. I don't know how many picks will be in.
But you'll get what you get. You just have to deal with it, kids.
Yep. So you have to deal with my mellifluous, that's it, mellifluous voice, and my very calm, rational demeanor.
Oh, sorry.
As we talk about sports and entertainment. Just you and me, kids, next week. All right, moving on to basketball. My Magic looking good. 3-1 to start the season.
Good for them.
Monday night, my man Paulo Banchero, first 50-point game of the season. Almost triple-double. Almost 50 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists as the Magic come from behind in the fourth quarter to beat the Indiana Pacers. I like the Pacers, but there's something wrong with them. I think they still need one more player.
Yep, they're just something, yeah.
I like the fact they kept Pascal Siakam. Halliburton's great, but there's something missing. They got the coach with Rick Carlisle. Yeah. They just need one more player. Congratulations to Kevin Durant, not necessarily my favorite player, but he becomes the 8th player in NBA history to eclipse 29,000 points.
Meh.
And then bad news, bad luck for the Bulls yet again. Just as he comes back triumphantly
from that knee injury, Lonzo Ball sprains his wrist, grade 1, borderline 2. Ouch.
So he's going to be out for a while. They will reevaluate in 10 days. The WNBA just makes me laugh. Just makes me laugh. Coming off, with no doubt, their most successful campaign ever.
We talked about last week how they were starting to shoot themselves in the foot.
Well, because they opted out of the Players Union opted out of their deal, so they've got 1 year left to get things fixed. And then I got people going, oh, look at the pay disparity between the NBA and the WNBA. Do you realize the WNBA lost money even this year? With Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all these exciting young players, they still lost money.
Are losing money. They don't have the money to give the players.
I don't want to hear this PC bullshit about the women need to be paid as much as the men.
That's ridiculously stupid. They're not drawing to bring in that kind of money.
I got an idea for you. Number one, more than 12 teams. I know they're adding a 13th here. There's an expansion draft coming up. But add more teams, and make the season longer if you want more money. Your season is half as long as the NBA.
Hell, the NBA teams are supplementing the WNBA teams as it is. If you want the pay disparity to go away, tell these overpriced NBA players to pony up. They don't deserve the money they're getting anyway because they never play.
All right, so as I mentioned, 12 teams currently in the WNBA. Going to be adding a 13th.
Why aren't you adding a 14th at the same damn time?
I don't understand that. Keep it even. Keep it, but...
Idiots.
The Golden State Valkyries they'll be having an expansion draft for them.
Idiots.
In December. But you got 12 teams. 7 of the 12 teams have fired their head coaches. Literally, 5 teams in the WNBA
keep their coaches. And how many are going to be retreads back and forth?
Do you really think there's that many great women's basketball head coach? Are you bringing in Muffet McGraw from retirement? Are you bringing in the racist from South Carolina? Is she giving up?
Or the idiot from LSU?
Or Gino Auriemma from UConn? No, they're not leaving those jobs.
No. So why would they take a pay cut to go to the WNBA?
Well, you know what, Dave? You are onto something. Because, of course, the Indiana Fever, as a novice,
told everybody.
As a novice, but I know basketball, I said right from the beginning that Christy Sides was not the right coach for this team. I could tell from the beginning. They got better as the season went along, but still not. She gets fired by the Indiana Fever. And now, the Connecticut Sun, who made the semifinals in the playoffs, part ways with their coach, Stephanie White. Stephanie White has a history. She used to be the head coach of the Fever. The last time they were actually successful, she also coached at Vanderbilt.
So do the Pacers bring her back?
That's what, like you said, retreads. I think that's what they are targeting. Stephanie White to come back. I got to do this. I can't take it. It's killing me. Oh no! Everybody gets mad at me. He goes, "Stop talking about the WNBA and how it's 50% lesbians." But come on. Okay, Stephanie White. I had to look her up after I saw the news. Wanted to do my research. And when there was a picture of her back, I think when she was either with Vanderbilt or right in her first tenure, about 11 years ago with the Indiana Fever. And she's put on a little bit of weight since then, but she actually looks a lot better now. And I'm like, oh, she's not bad looking, you know? I go on her Wikipedia page as I'm doing my research. This will blow your mind. Yes, she's a lesbian. Of course, she used to be married to a man and had kids, but now she's a lesbian. She switched teams, Jerry. So she switched teams. You'll never believe who her partner is. You will never believe who her partner is.
Who?
Oh my! It blew my mind. Monday Night Football. Lisa Salters.
What?
Sideline reporter.
Really?
She and Stephanie White are doing
hooked
the 69. Up. Yeah. I'm like, are you kidding me? And you people think I'm insane. I'm telling you, everybody's a lesbian. Everybody wants to get a sex change operation. What the hell's going on? Lisa Salters is a lesbian. I mean, come on.
I got nothing.
I'm waiting for Monday Night Football for Joe Buck to go down. Let's go down to the carpet muncher, Lisa Salters.
He is not going to do that. He's too professional.
I know. I love Lisa Salters, man. It's just a little bit disappointing to me. You know? It is.
It's out of control.
Oh, my Lord. You know what else is out of control? Your goddamn Blackhawks.
They suck. Although now they did get their third win. So now they're sitting at 3-6-1. One of 4 teams sitting at 7 points. But yet you still have the lowly San Jose Sharks. I am recapping the 6 points. You want me to discuss hockey? You fucking let me talk hockey, bitch.
Well, why do you have to pick the one team? Pick a good team.
I am talking about records that at least the Hawks are not at the end, so suck it.
You're going to ruin one of my dumbasses. God damn it. You have to pick the one team.
They're the one team that sucks and even worse than the Hawks, so come on.
Talk about the Rangers or the Capitals.
Because they're not in the back.
The Winnipeg Jets just lost their first game. But no, you gotta... All right. Moments of silence. Moments of silence.
Speaking of the Hawks, former Blackhawks center of the $1 Million Line, winner of the Calder Trophy for top rookie, Bill Hay, Hall of Famer, has passed away. Now, backed up his Rookie of the Year with helping the Hawks win a Stanley Cup the following year.
Thoughts and prayers, of course.
Yep, go out to his family and friends.
And then a tragic loss, just because it's way too young. Up and coming men's college basketball head coach at the University of South Florida, Amir Abdur-Rahim, dies at 43, under the knife, undergoing surgery for... I never heard any details about it, but something happened during the surgery. They said it was necessary. I don't know if it was cancer. I don't know if they're trying to remove something cancerous, but whatever happened during surgery, it killed him.
Yeah.
He died.
There was... something went askew.
Yep.
Don't know if he had a bad reaction to the anesthetic.
Yeah. Again,
There's
we're not...
no details.
And I get it. It's not our business. Yeah, get that CNN, Fox News. It's not our business.
Some things you just need to accept.
Yep. Leave the family alone.
Don't be ghouls.
Yep. So, of course, thoughts and prayers
to his family and friends.
So now, even though Dave spoiled one of them, we'll move on to our dumbasses of the week.
They can still be a dumbass. I didn't spoil why.
It's not completely shot, but...
I didn't explain why they're dumbasses. I just pointed out their record.
The San Jose Sharks. Wow. Where did that come from? The San Jose Sharks lead off our 5 potential dumbasses, as they were the first, up until a few nights ago, they were the first NHL team ever to go winless through the first 9 games in back-to-back seasons. Now,
ouch.
Now, here's the thing. I put this down. I'm like, oh, this is a no-brainer. And then they go and they win 2 games.
So go figure.
Yeah. But it still stands. They are still the first NHL team ever to go winless through 9 games in back-to-back seasons. And this is, of course, given they had the number 1 pick, but I think he's injured.
Yeah. Yep. So, makes it tough.
Okay. I'm just going to say it. One of those enough said things. Our second potential dumbass, because I got tired, so sick and fucking tired of hearing it all day Sunday. George Kittle, go to hell. National Tight Ends Day.
What the hell is this National Tight Ends Day bullshit?
I'm so tired. Everything's got to have a fucking day.
Just done. Done.
Let's Dave, right now, we pick a date.
National Sports Frenzy
Yes.
2.0 day?
When is our day?
When hell freezes over?
No, we'll have to look back and see when the first episode aired on cable
way back
access.
when on cable access.
That should be National Sports Frenzy 2.0 day, right?
I think that would be ideal.
Yep. We will have that for you, kids, and you mark it on your calendars once we figure it out for 2025. I've got to have it written down somewhere. Got to.
It's got to be there.
All right, we just ripped on this guy. He wasn't a dumbass. I think it was close. I think we were talking about.
He should have been, but now he's cemented himself.
The Lions need to cut bait and get rid of this kid. They have to. Jamison Williams again, after last week, getting the 2-game suspension for PED use. Now it comes out that back on October the 8th, he was pulled over with his brother.
Brother was driving.
But both had weapons.
Yep.
Jamison Williams had his hidden under his passenger seat.
Yep, his brother was in the back seat. His brother had a concealed carry permit and was legal to have it with him. However, Jamison was not licensed to have one, and that's in a concealed spot. And the dumbass officer who came on the scene said, "Oh no, he knew who he was, huge Lions fan, said, "Oh no, that's his brother's gun and his permit is valid to have that concealed there. It's all good." He hushed it under the rug. Now it's coming out via body cam footage from the other officers that no, that was not the brother's gun under the seat. It was actually Williams. Now an arrest warrant has been issued.
You clean that up. I'm telling you, I read it got much more convoluted.
Yeah.
Number one,
officer who showed up on scene late as the Lions fan was really doing everything he could to sweep this under the rug.
Yep. And, well, you mentioned body cam footage. Shockingly, somebody put a call in to the lieutenant, and that's garbled, and you can't hear the conversation on the body cam footage. And that's when, after that conversation, they took him out of cuffs and let him go.
Yeah.
And now the police commissioner is furious.
He is
because IA got involved.
Yeah.
And said, "What the hell are we doing here?
Yeah. We
don't play the game this way. Everybody gets treated the same."
Yep. And I applaud them for doing that.
Yes.
So you got a double dumbass with Williams and the officer involved in the cover-up.
And this just reminds me of how infuriated I was last month with Tyreek Hill and the way he acted and the way he treated the police officers.
Yes. Oh.
And notice how that went away so quickly.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Dave, you can get in trouble even when you're not playing, I found out. Look at Joel Embiid. Superstar player for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Pansy!
Who, by the way, the league hammered the Sixers. Hammered them. Because we talked last week about how they were going to investigate.
Yeah. His not playing in back-to-backs all season.
Or not playing at all because of knee management.
Yeah, bullshit.
The league hammered the Sixers. $100,000 fine.
Ooh, whoop-de fucking
$100,000 fine. But that's not why
it should
Joel
be an escalating penalty for every time Embiid sits.
But that's not why Joel Embiid is a dumbass this week. Because even though he's not playing, he's still sitting on the bench. And he's still supporting his teammates. He got a technical foul, even though he hasn't played this year. He has not played this year, yet he gets a technical foul from the bench, Because when the opposition player is at the free throw line, now the fans can do whatever they want within reason. Towels or yelling and screaming. Embiid stands up and starts waving a towel.
You cannot do that from the side. What a fucktard.
Joel Embiid got a technical foul and he hasn't even played a minute yet this season.
Idiot. Overrated idiot.
And finally, this one pisses me off. This one makes me mad. And I don't want to bring politics in like last week all that much. But Dave and I, to start the show off, we did what we had to do. We took our team to task. Dave and I, as Bears fans, we are allowed to call our coach an idiot. We are allowed to call our team a conglomeration of idiots. But the governor of fucking Minnesota does not have the right to make fun of the Bears. Tim Fucktard Walz decided Monday, and by the way, talking about double dumbasses, I think he will also make an appearance for a different reason on the weekend edition. Tim Walz decided Monday at a rally to rip the Chicago Bears and their ineptitude. That's fine, but Bears fans get to do that. You fucking Vikings fans, you've never won a goddamn Super Bowl. Shut your pie hole.
No, you're overreacting there. Everybody has the right to make fun of the Bears for that fucking stupidity. On national TV.
Not the governor of a state where their team has never won a Super Bowl. That's not right. That's a bridge too far. Packer fans, they can make fun of us. Tim Walz in Minnesota does not get to.
No, it was egregiously bad. They are fair game.
Cleveland fans do not get to.
They were fair game.
Carolina Panther fans do not get to.
The Bears are fair game.
Well, we know who you're not voting for Dumbass of the Week. So who else out of my other ones are you taking?
I'm taking Joel Embiid.
For getting a technical foul without...
And for being an asshole dumbass who won't play. Because he's a namby-pamby little bitch.
See, I take the Tim Walz thing a lot more personally than you do.
The Bears earned it.
If you
have
a team, if you are a political representative of a city or a state where the team has actually had success, go ahead. But Tim Walz in Minnesota have no room to talk. Last time I checked, the Bears won the '85 Super Bowl and that team is considered one of the greatest teams ever.
Minnesota lost 4 straight.
Yeah. I don't want to hear it from Tim Walz. He's my dumbass.
Oh, there you go.
Dave goes with Joel Embiid. Very good pick, by the way.
Yeah.
Very good.
Now, actually, my real dumbass is Matt Eberflus, but we covered that ad nauseum early.
Well, yeah. But that's kind of in the flow of, of things. All right, kids, do not forget, once again, to check out the weekend edition. This Saturday morning, your Saturday morning hangover cure. Last time for a couple weeks, you're going to hear Dave and I speaking and talking and arguing together. Because next week, it's just me. Blame Ario Speedwagon.
Yep, they had to schedule it for our taping night.
Well, they had to retire. Right.
Well, they have to retire because they're not getting together.
We wouldn't be going to this show if it wasn't for the fact that they announced they're done at the end of the year. We would have said, we can see him some other time.
Yep, nope. So, there we go.
All right. We'll talk about Trap on the weekend edition. We'll talk Jerry Cantrell, his brand new solo album. We'll have a lot of dumbasses. A lot more than Dave wants. But
he will pare it down under penalty.
Yes, I will. I was going to say, I have an idea. Like a rapid-fire dumbass segment. We'll see how it goes.
There we go.
He's your Uncle Dave.
He's your Uncle Kev. We'll talk to you Saturday morning or next week.
well, that'll just be me.
Yep.
But until then, say goodnight to the kids, Dave.
Good night to the kids, Dave.